Hey everyone, it's ENDYMION. As you likely know, the Sony State of Play happened recently and ended with the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which is officially called Ghost of Yotai. So in this video, I want to talk about the game, the voice actor behind it, and why I am so tired of activism in video games. And then we'll finish off with Assassin's Creed Shadows, cause there's some updates on that as well. So like I said, State of Play happened. As soon as I saw the trailer open, it was obvious it was Sucker Punch's sequel. But I did notice when they showed the character in the trailer that the hands were small, there were longer fingernails, and I immediately went, this is not Jin Sakai, is it? And lo and behold, the reveal at the end that the game would be following a female Japanese samurai instead named Atsu. I made some tweets about this which got a lot of reactions, however in retrospect, I don't think I worded myself properly. I did say that I was sick of seeing so many first-party Sony games having female leads, and I do stand by that. It's happening too often. It's not just Sony games, it's pretty much all Western games. I don't necessarily have a problem with female heroines, as obviously I have enjoyed games like Stellar Blade this year, and I do love other characters like Terra from Final Fantasy VI, and I actually did like Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn. I just found her to be very bland all of a sudden when the sequel Forbidden West came out. I don't know what exactly happened between Zero Dawn and West, but that character just became more robotic in her delivery, and I think that the game suffered for it in my opinion. Do I prefer to play as male characters over female? Yeah, I do, mostly. I'm not ashamed to admit that either. I make male characters in every game creator in any game that I play. Because of course, if I'm given the option, I like to do that. I'm sure it's the same for female players who want to play as women too. There's nothing wrong with this. Like I said, I did wish I worded my tweets better, but alas, here we are. However, there is this annoying trend these days where anytime a new modern video game gets announced, we have to unfortunately check who's behind it. Because 9 times out of 10, some moron who's an activist is lurking in the shadows. They'll call you crazy, even though we called out stuff like Dustborn or Suicide Squad or Concord, which all turned out to be true. Not to mention Mortal Kombat 1, which is also a sweet baby product as well. Having to make all the women weirdly ugly on purpose and completely covered, yet all the men are running around without their shirts on. Double standard much there for sure. Of course, this new Ghost main character is played by Erika Ishii, who is unfortunately an activist themselves. And speaking of Mortal Kombat 1, Erika Ishii also plays Sector in that game's expansion, which like Cyrax, they are gender swapped because again, it's a sweet baby product. Are you even surprised? You can look at my videos, I prove time and again that this rot runs really deep in this industry. Yet whenever you call it out on social media, people will dogpile you and gaslight you and call you crazy. It's like you're putting the truth in their face and giving them evidence, and they just refuse to see it because they know if they disagree with it, they'll be labeled a certain way and then excommunicated by their so-called peers. Funnily enough, this Erika Ishii, who apparently goes by all pronouns, which is already eye-roll worthy, has been going on a blocking spree list following the announcement of Yotai. She, they, him, her, whatever their pronouns are, has blocked plenty of people who haven't even spoken to this person once. To be frank with you, I didn't even know that Erika existed until this game's announcement, yet lo and behold, I'm blocked already. Hypnotic got blocked as well, and he said, I've never spoken with or interacted with this person in my entire life, and dude, same here. Yeah, here we are blocked, I guess. Fenrir, another Twitter user, also said, seriously woman, I was defending you. Well, I guess that's the last time I tried to be a gentleman. Yeah, so like I said, even if you defend this Erika person, if you're even so much as agreed one time with something that was out of place with their politics, you're now suddenly considered a bad person. This is the tolerant side as they claim they are too, by the way. They're so tolerant. They refuse to have any discussion or connection to anyone that goes against them in any single way. Instead, they just want you gone or to shut up because you don't agree with them 100% of the time. How many times have I proven on this channel that the game industry is an echo chamber? This shouldn't surprise me anyway. I mean, I also recently found out that Jason Schreier of Bloomberg has also blocked me. Yet I never once said anything bad about the guy ever. In fact, I have said countless times that him and Gene Park are some of the only real games journalists that are left. Yet even then I get blocked regardless, which just kinda tells you what I mean. I should also point out that Jason isn't exactly a saint either. The dude admitted to knowing about the ongoing internal harassment at Activision Blizzard, yet he refused to report on it until he could put it into his new book about the same topic in order to sell and make money off of it. So yeah, though the guy is one of the only last remaining actual games journalists, the fact that that dude hid the fact that he knew about those allegations and abuse for literal years until he could profit off of that information, not exactly living on a high horse of virtue there, Jason, but I digress. But again, if you criticize or you ask any real questions, you just get excommunicated because it's like I said, it's one big industry that is one massive echo chamber. And unless you agree with them, you're out of it, I guess. So like I said, the major reason why I have contention with Ghost of Yotai is because this Erica person is a massive raging activist, and I'll show you. Thankfully, there's been dozens of examples unearthed, and yeah, this person hates anyone who doesn't agree with them. Again, that's not very tolerant of someone who apparently champions said tolerance, but they're called hypocrites for a reason. For example, in 2019, YouTube spoke on a tragedy in New Zealand, to which Erica said, "I hope now you understand that you have a responsibility not to give hatred a voice. Islamophobia and white supremacy do not deserve a platform. The site allows people to disseminate good messages and create loving communities. Protect those, don't give power to messages of hate." Yeah, this rhetoric of Erica Ishii hating on white people, you're going to see that a lot. It's not a one and done sort of mentality for her or them, whatever. Let's keep going. Then on January 6th of all days, when that whole insurrection thing happened, which wasn't really an insurrection, it was just a bunch of people walking through Congress and then causing no damages, unlike the protests in 2020 when they burned cities down, but of course that was fine because something politics, I guess. Anyway, Erica said this on January 6th. "We will not let these terrorists shake our resolve. 2020 showed us that we will rise up and make our voices heard. Despite voter suppression, facing down a white supremacist police force, risking health and safety, we hit the polls and street to say no more, they can't stop us." That's rich of Erica to say that conservatives are against the suppression of votes, considering all of the overwhelming evidence that came out and proved that the 2020 election was clearly manipulated with votes for Trump being thrown out on purpose. Look, I don't care who you voted for in 2020, but can we agree that when social media is flooded with videos of people showing trucks that are literally driving away with storages that are full of Trump votes to be burned, that maybe, just maybe, it's not the conservatives that are enabling voter suppression? Like, I hate getting really political on this channel because, like, anytime someone brings up Kamala Harris or Trump, like, it's so tiresome, man. Again, she, they, whatever said, we are facing a white supremacy. Like, okay, Erica, whatever you say, you're a professional victim, it's pretty obvious, but sadly, it doesn't even stop there. Also, on January 6th, she said, "Historically, the answer to an attempted coup is to never acknowledge its legitimacy. We will not ignore this. We will treat these terrorist thugs like the unlawful mob they are and hold accountable those responsible for this." I didn't say the government would take action, I said we will not let this go unanswered. Erica, yet again. Acting like you're Madam President of the United States or something, when in fact, you're just an activist with a half-shaven haircut at best. Also calling them terrorists when they were literally burning down cities and voter suppression. Like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, around that time, let's be serious, in 2020 and 2021, places like Twitter, it was so blatantly against people that were right-leaning. If you even, like, went against the narrative, you were instantly blocked, suppressed, everything. Oh my god, let's just keep going. This is ridiculous. It's incredible how people who are so politically charged and voice their opinions like this are still able to get jobs in the industry. It just tells you what you need to know, that this is an echo chamber. I would honestly prefer if no voice actor, Hollywood actor, anyone who makes stuff like games or movies, to never voice their opinions when it comes to these sorts of things. Because I really don't care what Mark Ruffalo has to say about Trump, and I don't want to hear what Erica here has to say either. You people are actors. You're not equipped to fight battles like this. You literally pretend for a living. And for someone so cemented in their politics, it's funny that they can't pick a single pronoun to go by. We are literally living in Arkham Asylum, and oh my god, this one, fellas. So back in 2020, Erica said this, and oh my god, man, they said, "Abolish the police, It is unconscionable to allow this racist institution that terrorizes the citizens they are sworn to protect abolish the police. Yes, Erica, let's get rid of the peacekeeping force that is realistically the only thing standing between you as a probably 110 to 20 pound woman and a bunch of weirdos out there who would love to just take advantage of you if they could. Why are people like this, dude? Do they not realize that without laws and police, they would quite literally be living in some Wild West crazy world where you'd have to be strapped to the nines with like an M4 assault rifle just so that you can go walk your dogs? Because some weirdos are just going to run around causing mayhem because there's nobody to stop them. These people, they never think their actions through, do they? They just like what they say. I also love it how one point the solution these types of activists came to was that they wanted mental health workers to replace police officers. I'm not even kidding, dude. Like in Manitoba over here in Canada, we had this article in 2020 that liberals suggested Winnipeg needs to replace police with community-led crisis response teams, group says. Like, are you guys out of your mind? They suggest sending a mental health specialist to talk to someone if they're having a mental breakdown and are threatening to harm others. And okay, I'll bite. Let's imagine this scenario, okay? So, pretend we're all like Erica Ishii here right now. We all think that we should abolish the police. So anyway, some crazy person is zonking out like an inmate at Arkham. They have a knife and they are saying that the devil is telling them to harm people in its name. And they are literally stabbing people and all of that. So instead of sending an able-bodied man who has a gun, taser, bulletproof vest, etc., who's, I don't know, trained to deal with these sorts of people, these woke weirdos actually instead want us to send a mental health specialist. Imagine that if in like Batman Arkham Knight, instead of Batman, you play as a 140-pound woman in flats holding a laptop and she thinks that her words are going to stop the criminals in the streets. Like, help, the rival gangs are shooting each other and putting the local populace in danger. Quick, we should call someone. What about the police? Well, we can't call them. They are the epitome of white supremacy. Quick, there's only one person we can call. And that's Peggy, who works at the local high school. It hasn't exercised in the last 15 years, and also, she has asthma. But don't worry everyone, Peggy is a mental health specialist. Surely she can stop this gang war. After all, the pen is mightier than the sword. It's going to be totally fine. Go get them, Peggy. Go show them what a girl boss can do. Maybe try to bring out those criminals' tweets so you can expose them. That'll definitely stop them while they're shooting you with an AK-47 from 20 feet away. Just dodge and roll, Peggy. You got this. You're an activist, after all. You're untouchable. Like, are we really going to listen to people who advocate for things like this? Like, Erica can't be serious, dude. Plus, aren't they playing a samurai in Ghost of Yotai? Bro, samurais were literally the peacekeepers of Japan when they were in action. Can someone over there tell Erica that she's playing a Japanese police officer in Ghost of Yotai? Even if she is like a Ronin or something, doesn't that make it even worse for her ideology? Because Ronins are disgraced samurai peacekeepers who take the law into their own hands. Erica, you're literally playing a rogue cop in your Japanese samurai game. Are you being serious? You can't be having these opinions. How has no one vetted this? Yet I'll be attacked for bringing these things up when I am just showing you what these people champion, and then I'm telling you they're crazy for thinking this way. You can't abolish the police, but also say that samurais are cool and just. They're the same thing, dude. They fulfill the same role within that society, although yes, of course, at different time periods. But a merchant that's selling grapes in ancient medieval times is the same as a merchant in 2024 that is selling you a banana. There's no difference there. I feel like I'm going crazy here, dude, but this is what we have to deal with. To add more credence to my claims, Yotai takes place in 1608, which was around the time in the Edo period where the samurais were being made into the police peacekeeping force for Japan. So Atsu existing right when the police are basically being formed means that her story must have to in some way be connected to this concept. Maybe she rejects the idea of being a police officer for Japan, which I think could be the case actually. Because we see in the trailer that there's a bounty hunter guy saying that she is being hunted by all of these Ronins and such, so obviously there's a bounty on her head. But if Atsu refuses to obey the shogunate and doesn't want to be a police officer or a samurai, but also uses said weapons of the police at the time with their training to enact her own justice, then she's what, a vigilante? What are we doing here? Look, I'm all for a story where a rogue samurai denies the samurai code. I mean, Tsushima kind of did the same thing already, But can we also address the fact that the person they got for the role also hates the police and is an activist? Like, am I taking crazy pills? Do I have a point here? I think I do, because none of this would really matter if the actor who played Atsu was just a regular actor who kept their politics to themselves. I think more actors need to stay off social media, because nothing hurts their potential success more than when they open their mouths about things like this. Like, I don't know about you, I don't care what Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio think about politics or the state of the world. I do think it's hilarious and tone deaf that celebrities especially think that they have any right to speak to the public about anything. Like when Leonardo DiCaprio or Taylor Swift tells you that climate change is bad, and then people post how they have private jets that emit more emissions in like a year than you will in an entire lifetime. Again, just stop. Just go make stuff, keep your politics to yourself and whatever, and then you'll do well. If I was some celebrity actor, I would not have social media at all. I would completely remove myself from all of that because I wouldn't want to jeopardize any future prospects with any opinion. And for the people out there who do work in entertainment that do that, good on you. At least some of you are smart at least, otherwise you run into problems like this one. Of course they'll say, well, you don't know Erika Ishii's politics. Yeah, okay, really? She also said this. VP-elect Kamala Harris, black women, Asian women, me, with a crying face. Yeah, totally normal behavior, guys. Nothing to see here, no endorsement of any kind, just keep moving along. And then they'll also post cringe about things that definitely happened, bro, believe me, like this. Drunk guy got up in my space at the arcade to ask, are you single, while I was playing a rhythm game. I shouted, dude, if you bother me while I'm playing a game, I will kick your effing ass, as my girlfriend and a them fatale walked up to flank me, haven't seen him since. Yeah, I'll take 500 for things that never happened, thanks. Also, them fatale? Wait, like a they, them, femme fatale? Brother, this lady has lost her composure. That's crazy. Every day, they're coming up with new goofy terms. Them fatale. What a world we live in. They're also doing fundraisers for Kamala Harris. But trust me, guys, no. There's no political slant here at all, guys. Come on. Ignore the fact that she's raising money for a millionaire whose vice president said that we can't take 4 more years of this, while not realizing that it was their party, the Democrats, who were in power for the last 4 years. Like I said, when you call these things out, they call you crazy or some form of phobic, but like, are we being serious here, guys? These people hate you, dude. And I'm sick of it being tied to video games, as this one user on Twitter said. Hiring an activist for a game that has a history which doesn't connect with the gaming community is a big red flag. It's not enough to put me away from the game yet, but it is a red flag regardless. I hope it's the only one. Exactly this. Her activism is the big red flag here. Women can be in video games, but if you want to ignore the fact that there is a clear agenda to push more female heroines, you are lying to yourself. And I think above all, we just need way less activism in pretty much every space. I'm sick of some Hollywood, California-born voice actor telling me what I should think or who I should vote for. Your job is to never tell me how to live my life. Your job is to read the lines and perform them on the paper. You're a voice actor for a reason. It's why you're not a politician. We don't need your opinions on things like this. As for Jin Sakai and all of that, I really did want to see another game with him, because his story didn't seem over at all to me. I thought he would get a trilogy, and we would see the darkness that he was wrestling with, you know, taking him over as he fed into this monster called the ghost that he was becoming. And the invasion was obviously not over either, and Sony's done this twice now. God of War Ragnarok ended with the second game, and that whole game, it felt like it was sprinting to the finish line. Now Tsushima doesn't get to keep telling its story either. For those unaware, Yotai takes place 300 years after Tsushima. So yeah, Jin, he is as dead as it gets. Apparently Sony wants to turn the Ghost series into a franchise that spans multiple narratives. So the way I'm looking at it, they're pretty much turning the Ghost franchise into their own version of Assassin's Creed, I guess. As of now, yes, 2 games are set in Japan, I get that, but this concept, like Assassin's Creed, well, it can be applied to pretty much any time period. Ghost of Rome would be really cool. Maybe eventually, once every single other avenue drives up, we'll just get Ghost of Florida. And it's just some guy coked out of his mind wrestling gators and running around in a Speedo in a swamp. It's an interesting idea at least, but I would be lying if I said I didn't miss Jin. Weirdly, people on social media all started to pair it and say that they didn't like Jin all of a sudden once Yotai got announced. which is ridiculous to me because Jin was great. He was complex. He was a samurai who abolishes a sacred duty, not out of greed or weakness or activism, but because of necessity to save his homeland, and it's very, very cool to me. I loved how in Tsushima, Jin uses the poison at one point to kill plenty of Mongols, and then Jin gets scolded for it, saying what he did was against the samurai code. But that's where these interesting parts of the story of Ghost can mingle in, and I enjoy that. Look, I'm not saying that Atsu here will be a bad character. I don't know yet, obviously, and I'm neither saying you should boycott this game or anything like that yet anyway. It's way too early to tell. But I do think we need to objectively look at these sorts of things and realize that activism can indeed ruin your franchise. It's happened to plenty already. Go look at Star Wars and all the other things. I don't need to explain it. We already know what this sort of thing does. Ghost should give us another Jin Sakai game. If the series is having multiple perspectives, then do that as well. Giving Jin only one game to me anyway, that would be like Assassin's Creed never having Brotherhood or Revelations happen, and Ezio's story just ends in 2. Like, screw that. I wanted more Ezio, the same way I wanted more Jin 2. I think an old man Jin in the end of the trilogy could be a very badass and interesting thing to play, but like I said, because they're clearly going for an Assassin's Creed approach, I'm totally open to this idea in other time periods and such too. Ghost of Rome, like I said, would be really cool. Ghost of Sarajevo, well, that would be a crazy ass war game. Goddamn, bro. And then of course you could do Ghost of New York, which would be a smaller game that takes place on Black Friday. And it's just people fighting over a 50-inch TV in a Walmart because it's on sale. But give us Jin again, please. Atsu can stay, it's fine, but I want Jin as well. I think the concept of what Assassin's Creed is obviously too amazing to not delve into with a more competent dev. And I'm sure this idea could be outsourced to other devs too, which is great as well. But don't make every story a one and done. There's so much potential still in Jin's story. To end it where it honestly feels more like an origin story is criminal to me. I wanted to see Jin leading a war against the Mongols as he moves to use the legend of the ghost to rally his people. Maybe he starts embracing parts of his samurai roots again. The choices we made in Tsushima, they need to matter. I would love to see them further explored, the same way they did with Infamous 1 and 2 and so on. I see the potential here, so I hope they capitalize on it. This is what Sony's PlayStation blog had to say about Ghost of Yotai. They said, and I quote, "Today we are so happy to announce Ghost of Yotai, the latest game from Sucker Punch, and the introduction of our new hero Atsu. When we set out to make a new Ghost game, we wanted to maintain the core pillars established in Ghost of Tsushima, playing as a wandering warrior in feudal Japan, offering freedom to explore your own pace, and highlighting the beauty of the world. We also wanted to continue to innovate. To create something fresh but familiar, we looked beyond Jin Sakai's story and the island of Tsushima and shifted our focus to the idea of the ghost instead. At Sucker Punch, we love origin stories and we wanted to explore what it could mean to have a new hero wearing a ghost mask and uncovering a new legend. This led us to Ghost of Yotai, a new protagonist, a new story to unfold, and a new region of Japan to explore. While we aren't diving into story specifics yet today, we can reveal that Atsu's journey takes place in 1603. More than 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima, our story is set in the land surrounding Mount Yotai, a towering peak in the heart of Izo, an area of Japan known as Hokkaido in present day. In 1603, this area was outside the rule of Japan, and filled with sprawling grasslands, snowy tundras, and unexpected dangers. It's a far cry from the organized samurai clans who lived in Tsushima, and it's the setting for an original story we can't wait to tell. This is also Sucker Punch's first game built from the ground up for PlayStation 5, and we're excited to build on the visual foundation we established in Ghost of Tsushima by making the world feel even more real. We have massive sightlines that let you look far across the environment, whole new skies featuring twinkling stars and auroras, even more believable movement from wind on grass and vegetation, and more improvements we'll share in the future. Our new setting also gives us the opportunity to introduce new mechanics, gameplay improvements, and even new weapons. Our trailer today offers a glimpse into this world, but there's so much more to show, and we'll have much more to share in the months ahead, including details about Atsu's journey, and the people and animals she'll meet along the way. We are forever grateful for the success of Ghost of Tsushima, and we can't wait for you all to experience Ghost of Yotai in 2025, end quote. So that's the game for now. It all looks great, and it sounds great too. It just, unfortunately, it has a crazy activist at the heart of it. Will this derail the game? I hope not. I like Ghost of Tsushima. I just wish activists kept their crazy opinions to themselves. It's hard to remove the person from the art these days, and when you do call these things out, you get attacked for it, but that's okay. They can attack me all they want. Because deep down in their heart, they know that what I'm saying, it's not coming from a place of malice. I just want games to be great and respect the paying customer. Finally, Assassin's Creed Shadows got an update. The game is officially delayed till February 2025, so the pulling of all the advertisements and from Tokyo Game Show recently, well, that ended up being exactly as I reported before. They're hurting and they're running scared because of the forced DEI agenda behind Shadows. And now that Ghost is coming out the same year, I think Shadows will get even more flack than it would have originally. Plus, they're now missing the lucrative fall season window and moving themselves to the next year, and I'm sure their investors are not going to like that at all. Shadows shows you what can happen to your game when you push nonsense, and Ghost can be an easy slam dunk as long as the activist actor in Erika Ishii doesn't spark too much trouble, but this is where we're at right now. Calling out anything about women makes you an incel apparently, and it means you haven't touched a woman, which is funny because I have a girlfriend and all that, but okay, whatever makes you sleep at night, you weirdos. But what we're witnessing lately is one side who never has any evidence to support their claim saying that you're wrong. And then this side, where all we have is overwhelming evidence to prove that what we are saying is true. Yet we're the grifters according to them. It's projection, it's pathetic, and it's not surprising at all, sadly. Again, I truly hope that Ghost of Yotai is a good game with no politics in it. I'd like to think because Sucker Punch was so authentic with Tsushima, that they would do the same here. But I guess we'll see because as they say, times are changing. As for Shadows, it's cooked. Just bury it and move on, guys. Let me know what you think as always. Thank you for watching, subscribe, thanks to my supporters, and I'll see you in the next one.